You ever get that feeling that we're just disconnected from the natural world? Like the way we're living is somehow out of step with the very planet that keeps us alive? Well, today, we're going to dive into something called the Earthway. It's a vision for a more sustainable, nature-connected life that really speaks to that exact feeling. It starts with this, just a simple shift in how we talk about it, but it changes everything. It's a core idea from ecopsychology. The point is, we don't own this planet. We're not conquerors. We're more like caretakers, guardians, looking after this incredible world for everyone who comes after us.
That is a huge question, right? But that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. We're going to look at the philosophy, the ethics, and the real-world, hands-on stuff that brings this powerful idea to life.
Okay, so our journey really begins by just admitting a basic challenge of modern life. We're disconnected from nature. The Earthway vision suggests that we need to get back to our roots, not by, going back in time, but by forging a new path forward.
And this image, an Earthship, is such a perfect metaphor for the whole idea. See, it's not just a house that's plopped down on the land. It's a home built into and with the land itself. It's all about a life that's deeply integrated with its surroundings, not separate from them. And this is a really important point. The goal isn't to just abandon everything and run off to live in the wilderness. It's about integration. It's about asking ourselves, how can we weave these ideas of balance and connection into our lives, right here, right now, to find a more sensible way to exist?
So how do you actually build a life like that? Well, the Earthway vision is built on a really solid foundation of 3 core ethics, which actually come from the principles of permaculture. Think of these as the guideposts for, pretty much every decision you make.
And here they are, super simple but also incredibly profound. Earth care, people care, and fair share. I like to think of them as the 3 legs of a stool. You take one away and the whole thing just tips over. It's all got to be there.
First up, earth care. Now this is way more than just planting a few trees. It's about taking care of the whole system, the soil, the water, the forests, every single living creature. It recognizes that the entire ecosystem, even the non-living parts, it's all connected and it's all vital.
Next is people care. This one highlights something crucial. Our own well-being is completely tied to the planet's well-being. I mean, you can't have healthy, happy people on a sick planet, right? So by caring for the Earth, we're directly caring for ourselves, our families, and our communities.
And finally, fair share. This one really challenges our modern obsession with just more. It's about figuring out when we have enough, setting some conscious limits, and then sharing any surplus, whether that's food or knowledge or money, to make the whole community stronger.
Okay, so that's the theory. It all sounds great, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at that first ethic, Earth care, in action.
So deep in the heart of Transylvania, there's a place called the Earthway, and it's putting all these principles into practice. It's been called a modern-day Zen monastery, and it's basically a living, breathing example of growing food, restoring land, and building community in a really intentional way.
This simple phrase, it just captures the whole spirit of Earth care, doesn't it? It's not about a one-and-done fix. It's a continuous cycle of healing and renewal. It's a statement of faith, really, in nature's incredible ability to bounce back if we just give it a chance.
And this regeneration isn't just a concept, it's happening through real, hands-on work. They're restoring a 400-year-old barn using traditional natural materials. They're designing their land with permaculture zones, turning compost to build amazing soil, and basically living in sync with the seasons. This is what practical earth care looks like. But of course, restoring the land is only one piece of the puzzle. It's not just about the soil and the trees. So let's look at how that second ethic, people care, is actively built and nurtured.
At the Earthway, community isn't something that just happens. It's built by design. They're creating these incredible shared spaces, like the Ruin, which is this open structure for baking bread and telling stories. They bring together ideas from Zen philosophy and indigenous wisdom, and by sharing knowledge in workshops, they create a space where people can connect, feel like they belong, and build real resilience together.
All right, now for the final, and maybe the most radical ethic in practice, fair share. I mean, how do you actually shift your whole mindset from one of just accumulating stuff to one of abundance and sharing?
This slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got the standard way we do things, the consumption model, all about unlimited growth and accumulation. But on the right, you have the fair share model. It's about defining what enough is, and then taking all that extra, that surplus, and using it to build up the entire community. It's a total flip. And listen, this is not some brand new idea. Henry David Thoreau was talking about this over 100 years ago. This quote just completely reframes our relationship with stuff. Instead of more things bringing you more freedom, too much of it can actually become a burden that ties you down. So in a way, fair share is also about freeing yourself.
So all of this, it brings us to the big picture, the ultimate purpose of the Earthway vision. Because this isn't just about making life better for ourselves right now. It's about a much, much longer view.
7. Just the number 7. It's absolutely central to this whole long-term vision. But what on earth does it mean?
It represents the indigenous principle of 7-generation stewardship. It's this profound commitment to making choices today based on how they'll impact people 7 generations from now. People whose faces we'll never see, whose names we'll never know. It is the ultimate expression of care and long-term responsibility.
And that leaves us with this final question, which is really the heart of the whole Earthway vision. It isn't asking for one single perfect answer. Instead, it's an invitation for all of us to think about how our small, individual actions, our responses to the world, can be woven together intentionally to create a kind of collective prayer for a more balanced, a more regenerative future.